Coming up on News Channel 3 at 6, combating violent crime in Memphis. The plan Memphis Mayor Jim Strickland revealed in his State of the City address last night, with hopes not to see a record year in violent crimes after the city saw just 323 homicides last year.
Please, don't hurt my children.
Plus, the desperate plea from SES Superintendent George Ray to Tennessee lawmakers to not take away money from Memphis schools if they do not reopen.
We have to act. We have to act now.
And starting from scratch, President Joe Biden has signed new executive orders to stop the spread of coronavirus as the U.S. sees another deadly day of the virus. From WREG in Memphis, this is News Channel 3 at 6. And we start tonight at 6 with breaking news. Opening arguments in the Senate impeachment trial for Donald Trump over the Capitol riots will begin February 8th. Good evening, and thank you for joining me for WREG News Channel 3 at 6. I'm Noah Sershin, and for Greg Hurst and Stephanie Skurlock. And as our D.C. correspondent reports, Democrats and few Republicans are wasting no time as Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi plans to deliver the articles of impeachment to the Senate on Monday.
Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said House Democrats plan to send their impeachment article over to the Senate on Monday and on Friday night. Schumer said that the Senate will begin their trial the week of February 8th.
Both the House managers and the defense will have a period of time to draft their legal briefs, just as they did in previous trials. During that period, the Senate will continue to do other business for the American people.
As we saw last year during Trump's previous impeachment proceedings, a trial consumes a lot of the Senate's time. Schumer and Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell are still ironing out a lot of the details about how a 50-50 Senate will run, with Democrats holding the deciding vote with Vice President Kamala Harris. Republicans had said Friday they wouldn't consider President Joe Biden's cabinet nominees while a trial is ongoing. The White House was asked about the possibility of those cabinet delays and how the trial might impact Biden's push for his $1.9 trillion COVID-19 relief proposal.
Certainly there is capacity and ability to have discussions, have hearings, take steps to move forward on the president's COVID relief package, and we don't think it can be delayed or it can wait. So they're going to have to find a path forward. He's confident they can do that.
The single article of impeachment charges Trump with incitement of insurrection after the riot at the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
Also, Georgia Senator Marjorie Taylor Greene announced controversial articles of impeachment against President Joe Biden. She announced this news on Twitter on President Joe Biden's first day in office. We'll have more news on this story as it develops tonight on WREG News Channel 3 at 10. And we have a breaking news update for you. West Memphis police say that 2 people are in custody after a double shooting that happened on the middle of the afternoon on East McCauley and Twist Avenue. Police said that the 2 victims were both transported to the hospital in critical condition. Neighbors told WREG that they heard several shots and said one of the victims was able to drive to a gas station about a block away on Ingram Boulevard for help. Police say that they were on Twist Drive for a couple of hours and could be seen collecting evidence and talking to neighbors. They said that 2 people are now in custody for attempted murder and first-degree battery. Also, 1 person was killed in a car accident in South Memphis. According to police, the vehicle was found in a ditch near East Brooks Road and Elvis Presley Friday. 1 person was located unresponsive and was pronounced dead at the scene. The accident is still an ongoing investigation. A Memphis man was arrested in connection to a deadly double stabbing Thursday night in downtown. 55-year-old Rodney Williams was charged with second-degree murder after first responders discovered a stabbing victim at the corner of North Danny Thomas and Madison just before 6 p.m. The man was rushed to the hospital where he later died. Investigators believe the stabbing was a result of an ongoing argument between the 2 men. If you know anything about what happened, you are urged to call the Crime Stoppers at 901-528-CASH. West Memphis Police Department says multiple people are facing numerous charges in a connection with a sexual assault investigation in West Memphis. Detectives began the investigation on January 10th, and so far 4 people have been arrested on rape, kidnapping, and trafficking charges. West Memphis police said they identified the suspects as Ricky Gaines, Victoria McClure, Brian Donaldson, and Randall Blair. Gaines is facing charges 4 counts of rape, 1 count of kidnapping, and 1 count of trafficking. McClure has been charged with 1 count of kidnapping and 1 count of trafficking. Donaldson and Blair have both been charged with 3 counts of rape. The West Memphis Police Department says that the case is still in active investigation. Back here in Memphis, Memphis Mayor Jim Strickland used his State of the City address last night to address violent crime plaguing Memphis, and he introduced an initiative. WREG News Channel 3's Shay Arthur explains.
To talk about the violent crime plaguing the Bluff City.
For me personally, it's been one of the most frustrating and challenging obstacles I've faced during my time as mayor.
After 332 people died violently in 2020, he introduced an initiative called Group Violence Intervention Plan, or GVIP, saying it's worked in other cities. According to the National Gang Center, the program is credited with a 63% reduction in teen homicides in Boston. The findings also say it helped curb crime in Cincinnati, Indianapolis, Los Angeles, and Stockton, California. The comprehensive plan works to change individual behaviors and collective norms.
It will be complemented by non-police agencies who will perform intense violence intervention, prevention, and outreach.
Here's a look at the plan, which includes suppression, intervention, prevention, community mobilization, and organized change. Another announcement Strickland says will help deter crime is bringing more light to neighborhoods. In the next few weeks, the city will work with companies to convert 84,000 streetlights across the city to LED bulbs.
By doing this, we will be bringing much needed and significantly improved lighting to every neighborhood in Memphis. No longer will criminals have safe harbor to operate under the cover of darkness.
Shay Arthur, WREG, News Channel 3.
Happening now, temperatures are dropping in the Mid-South after a sunny Friday. Weather expert Tim Simpson is in the Weather Center to tell us what we can expect this weekend. Hey there, Tim.
We've got some big changes coming up. We've had a beautiful day today across the Mid-South, but as we get into tomorrow, still going to be nice. Sunday is going to be the pivotal point because that's when you're going to start seeing some rainfall show up here on Storm Tracker 3S. Things look good at the moment with no rainfall anywhere near us. It's all well to the south of us near a frontal boundary, but as far as a cloud cover goes, that's well south as well. 53 was the high today. We started at 41 degrees this morning. Now that's because of cloud cover that we had. We're going to lose that cloud cover. We'll not have it tonight, so these numbers are expected to drop into the upper 20s and low 30s. Current temperatures mostly in the 40s all across the region. I'll tell you what happens over the weekend as far as rain, when, and how much. It's just ahead.
All right, thank you, Tim. And now to the latest on the coronavirus. The Tennessee Department of Health announced changes to its vaccination plan. The state has made the decision to move jail employees and jailers to the 1A1 priority group, which is now receiving the vaccine across the state. Health officials said that there is a high risk of exposure to this group as they are in close contact with inmates in a confined space. This led to some questions about the people behind bars and why they aren't being moved up as well. The state said that staff members are a priority due to potential staffing issues at public safety issues if they become ill. Another change announced Friday is that households with sick children will be included in priority group 1C. And to see who else is now eligible to get the coronavirus vaccine, check out the story on our website, WREG.com. Memphis Superintendent Dr. Joris Ray urged lawmakers to vote against a controversial bill that would take state funding away from school districts that are still closed for in-person learning. WREG News Channel 3's Quamisha Wilborn was at the SCS headquarters and has more.
"Don't hurt my children" are the words Shelby County School Superintendent Dr. Joris Ray asks lawmakers who may be considering a bill that would defund the school district. Lawmakers behind the bill say if a school district does not have an in-person learning option, they don't need the funding.
Please don't hurt my children.
Superintendent Dr. Doris Ray pleads with lawmakers to vote against a bill that could take funds away from the Shelby County School District for not having in-person classes.
When you advocate for in-person learning against the decisions of a duly elected school board, you abridge the very essence of local control and run the risk of hurting my children.
The bill was introduced by a Republican state lawmaker from Sumner County who says the goal is to get students back in the classroom.
They learn better in school, and their parents know, in conjunction with their teachers, what option works best for them. So you have to have a virtual and an in-person option.
As written, the bill states schools should offer a minimum of 70 days of in-person learning by the end of the current school year. If not, the bill says parts or all the school's basic education program funding would be withheld.
It doesn't mean every child has to be in every school. That means the option has to be there. Surely to goodness, every school can accomplish that goal.
However, Superintendent Ray says it's not that easy, considering Shelby County has seen some of the highest COVID-19 cases and deaths in the state. The school district, which is the largest in the state, has been adamant on its decision to not return to in-person classes until the county sees a downward trend in cases.
My children have known a day where more than 1,000 of their neighbors have tested positive.
The bill is currently sponsored by 27 other lawmakers. None represent Shelby County. Ray says lawmakers who have never visited nor spoke with anyone from the district run the risk of causing more harm than good. Kwamitra Wilborn, WREG News Channel 3.
Okay, thank you, Kwamitra. Day 2 of President Joe Biden's term in the White House, and he is back at it again, signing more executive orders to help struggling Americans not go hungry and to increase how much money some Americans can get. Karen Kafa is in Washington with this story.
We have to act. We have to act now.
President Biden zeroing in on COVID-19's devastating economic impact with 2 more executive orders.
We cannot, will not let people go hungry.
The first asks federal agencies to take steps to aid struggling Americans. Among them, calling on the Department of Agriculture to boost food assistance benefits and Treasury to update its process for distributing stimulus checks so eligible Americans don't miss out on payments. The second order starts the process of raising the minimum wage to $15 for the federal workforce.
Our economy is at a very precarious moment. We are 10 million jobs short still of where the economy was when this pandemic started.
Facing daunting numbers, Biden wants to provide some fast relief with the executive directives. The Labor Department says about 900,000 Americans filed for unemployment for the first time last week.
The economy is struggling, and those households are obviously still being devastated by the financial impact of the pandemic.
The Biden White House has proposed a $1.9 trillion COVID-19 relief package that Congress will need time to pass. Some Republicans have already balked at the price tag. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
And Joe Biden also signed another executive order today. President Joe Biden delivered a body blow to the rights of women and girls. The executive order on preventing and combating discrimination on the basis of gender identity or sexual orientation. On his first day, Mr. Biden placed all girls' sports and women's safe spaces in the crosshairs of the administrative state. The order declares, quote, that children should be able to learn without worrying about whether they will be denied access to the restroom, the locker room, or school sports. It also goes on to say that all persons should receive equal treatment under the law, no matter their gender identity or sexual orientation. We have some sad news to report to you that earlier today, Baseball Hall of Famer Henry Hank Aaron died Friday at the age of 86. Born in Mobile, Alabama in 1934, Aaron briefly played in the Negro Leagues and minor leagues during his youth. He made his MLB debut at age 20 and started his 23-year career within the Milwaukee Braves, which is now known as the Atlanta Braves. He would go on to set the career home run record with a whopping 755 home runs, surpassing Babe Ruth. The record would later be broken by Barry Bonds during baseball's steroid era. Earlier this month, Aaron, along with former UN Ambassador Andrew Young and other civil rights leaders, were vaccinated against COVID-19. They hope to send a message to Black Americans, in particular, that the shots are safe. And still to come on News Channel 3 at 6, 3 grand jurors in the Breonna Taylor case have filed a petition calling for the impeachment of Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron. Next on the news at 6, reaction from some Louisville attorneys. Plus, Making History, a Mid-South chapter of the Alpha Kappa Alpha, reflects on Kamala Harris becoming the first female vice president.
I thank God for it, because a lot of people have moved out.
And words tonight from a tenant of a Mid-South property manager. We'll introduce you to her in our weekly Bright Spot segment after the break. Your number one 6 p.m. newscast, WREG News, Channel 3. Alright, welcome back to News Channel 3 at 6. We want him out. The words tonight from 3 grand jurors in the Breonna Taylor case after they filed a petition calling for the impeachment of Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron after they said that he withheld information about the Breonna Taylor investigation from the grand jury to, quote, satisfy his political ambitions. Jesse Cohen is in Louisville, Kentucky with the story.
3 grand jurors in the Breonna Taylor case claim that Attorney General Daniel Cameron withheld information, and now they are calling for his impeachment.
They realized this was kind of the path that Mr. Cameron had set for them. It's their opportunity to make sure that they're continuing to keep the record straight.
Kevin Glogauer, the attorney for the 3 anonymous jurors, says they were approached through his office to see if they were interested in a petition for impeachment.
Being honest with the public about how things were handled and mishandled, more importantly, so that accountability can be put where it's supposed to be instead of on them. Which is what Mr. Cameron continues to do.
Now it's been filed with the Kentucky House of Representatives. The jurors say Cameron knowingly and intentionally lied to the public about what information was presented to the grand jury to, quote, satisfy his political ambitions.
He stated that everything was presented to the grand jurors. We know for a fact that's a lie.
Glogauer says this petition is just another step towards exposing the truth.
He took the responsibility that comes with his office and his authority and placed it right on these grand jurors to avoid accountability for those decisions.
The Breonna Taylor case isn't the only thing mentioned. The petition also alleges Cameron incited the insurrection at the U.S. Capitol on January 6th.
This is something that if you read the petition, this was done quietly.
It points to a branch of the Republican Attorneys General Association that authorized and paid for robocalls that called on people to march on the Capitol as the election certification was happening. Cameron condemned the attack, and when asked about the calls a few days later, he said he wasn't aware of them.
Other organizations that were specific to that robocall have made it clear that none of the attorneys general were aware of that robocall.
But Glogauer says this just adds to the jurors' case.
And their ongoing concerns are truth and transparency. They're not going to back away from a public official.
Kentucky House Speaker David Osborne confirmed they did receive notice of the petition, but are waiting to comment until attorneys review it. We've reached out to Cameron's office for a response, but so far we have not heard anything. For the Night Team, I'm Jesse Cohen.
Well, along with an unprecedented inauguration, Kamala Harris also made history Wednesday. Harris becomes the first woman, first Asian, and first African American to hold the office of vice president. Ashley Joseph from our sister station KPLC in Lake Charles, Louisiana, spoke with members of the Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority about the vice president making history.
That I will support.
A moment in history, not only for American politics, but for Black and brown women across the nation.
You know, this is history. It's strictly history, and it has really validated all the gifts and talents of not only Black women, but women, period.
Born in 1929, Pi Brown is a golden soror of the local Alpha Kappa Alpha chapter. She says she never thought she'd live to see a woman of color in the White House, let alone a sorority sister.
I was so happy. I really had tears in my eyes. I cry easily, but they are happy tears, you know, reminiscing, you know, because I've seen a lot and I've been through a lot.
Nicole Simeon, also an AKA, said Harris's journey not only inspires, but gives the organization a sense of pride to continue their call to service, especially at the local level.
And not only in our sorority, but also in women in general. We are providing a service with excellence in our community and everything that we do. So all eyes are on us as leaders and as women as leaders.
Both women believe that Harris's legacy as an AKA and HBCU graduate shows that the country wants to see more diversity and representation on Capitol Hill.
Now, of course, we still have a lot of work to do to level the playing field, not only for women, but just for Black women and just Blacks in general. However, if we can get our country back to a sense of unity, a sense of pride in our country for all of us, that's the number one thing for me.
Harris was also the first African American and woman to serve as U.S. Attorney General. She was also the second Black U.S. Senator. Well, we all know that with the pandemic, it is hard for some tenants to pay rent, and with President Joe Biden extending the eviction moratorium, it provides relief to several Americans struggling to get by. WREG News Channel 3's Simone Woolridge has this week's Bright Spot.
Oh, another good one. One woman in South Memphis has turned an apartment complex that was once unlivable to some into a safe place, making her this week's Bright Spot.
We had all abandoned apartment with boards and stuff on it.
Washington Manor Apartment sits off East Bells Road in South Memphis. About 10 months ago, the apartments looked like this.
It was dangerous over here.
All my glass was completely gone over here.
That was until Jared Moran took over as property manager.
So we're starting over here. We've got these almost done.
A one-woman show handling at least 80 tenants.
Washington Manor reminded me why I got in this business, was to help people.
But using the words helping people may be an understatement here. Behind Jara is a shelf of food, free food given to her tenants.
When the pandemic first started in March, I noticed that a lot of our residents were going to the food banks and they were getting the boxes and that kind of thing. And so how my pantry actually started was some of the stuff that they didn't want, they were throwing away.
Like she was, many of her tenants are single moms or large families with a low income. So instead of pointing them toward a food bank, she brought it to them.
Deborah Gunn with the Rock Development, this was stuff that they gave us in December. And so the paper goods and stuff like that. So if residents need it, they're welcome to come down here and get it.
For Christmas, she stuffed over 75 stockings with toys, books, and sweet treats for the kids, a gesture you can see meant a lot.
It doesn't matter where you live or, what area you're in. It's all about being proud of where you're at.
By the new year, nothing in Jara's line of work has changed. She's tightened security, led new building projects.
How are you this morning? I'm so happy.
The tenants have nearly tripled since she started, and aside from the Washington Manor business she takes care of, she also takes care of business for her residents, using time out of her day to send completed applications on their behalf for any extra assistance.
I thank God for it, because a lot of people have moved out, and now a lot of people is coming back to this community because they got somebody to that care about us.
Yeah, when I asked Jara if she thought she was going above and beyond, she said no, and that she couldn't do it without the vendors who have donated money for assistance. Jara says her only hope is to make her tenants feel loved and at home. If you know someone or something you would like me to feature on Bright Spot, just let me know. All you have to do is send me an email or message me on social media.
Wow, well, what a great story there. Now it's time to get the story of our weather. Weather expert Tim Simpson is in the Weather Center tracking the latest details on tonight's forecast and the forecast for this weekend. Hey there, Tim.
A good story, at least starting out. It kind of goes downhill after tomorrow, but at least we're starting on a good note. Clear skies here in Memphis this evening. This is the Hilton Memphis camera looking back toward Poplar Avenue and St. Francis Hospital. It's a pretty nice evening. Temperatures across the region now pretty much in the 40s. We're seeing 45 degrees Bolivar, 40 up in Blytheville, 46 Oxford. Here in Memphis, currently 46 degrees and northeasterly winds around 10 miles per hour. Just a little bit above average today at 53 degrees. The low this morning was 41, and that's because we had that cloud cover that acted as an insulator, kept those temperatures up just a little bit. But I got to tell you, coming into the next 6 to 10 days, this is the outlook as far as temperatures go. And right here across Texas, up across Arkansas, even into the Mid-South, south area here in West Tennessee, North Mississippi, we're going to be looking at temperatures to be above normal, and you'll see that represented in the 7-day forecast in just a few moments. Zoom in and let me show you Storm Tracker 3S. Clean sweep here locally. Nearest rainfall is well to the south here, lower sections of Alabama, Georgia, and back across into northern Florida. The next storm system that we have to worry about making its way into the southwestern part of the country. This one will rapidly push across the nation's midsection and impact us by the time we roll into Sunday. Tomorrow, plenty of sunshine, but clouds will be on the increase during the afternoon and evening hours. Rainfall, not a problem for tomorrow. But as we get into Sunday, we'll start seeing some of that rain push into the area as this storm system works across Texas and Oklahoma. So as far as your day tomorrow, we start things off on a very cold note compared to this morning. Actually mid-20s, upper 20s, and low 30s. So make sure you bundle up if you're headed out tomorrow morning for a walk. Temperatures at lunchtime in the 40s here, and then we'll barely make it into the low 50s tomorrow afternoon at 4 o'clock, continuing with these easterly winds. But once we get past that, watch what happens as we roll into Sunday. This is 10 a.m. Sunday as the rain starts pushing into the area. We're in the rain pretty much off and on all day Sunday afternoon. Picks up Sunday night into Monday. Some of these thunderstorms will get popping as well. Could pick up some heavy amounts of rainfall. As a matter of fact, that is what we're expecting for Sunday night into Monday, with rainfall amounts up to around 3 inches for some folks. But not tonight. Clear skies tonight. 29 degrees for the overnight low temperature. Winds out of the northeast at about 4 to 8 miles per hour. We're going to zoom out and show you our 7-day forecast is just so big, it just takes a little extra space there. Sunny start tomorrow, late clouds move into the area, then those showers overnight, 51 for the high temperature, then 60 on Sunday with showers and thunderstorms. We get into Monday now, we're talking more storms and that heavy rainfall, 68 for the high. Once again, we showed you the map a few moments ago about those above normal temperatures. Into next week we go now, temps settling back into the 50s with rain chances on Wednesday. Overnight low temperatures falling back into the 30s. Your +3 forecast looks like next weekend is going to feature some rainfall as well. But at this point, I don't think you're going to get a pass next Saturday the way you're going to get tomorrow, this Saturday.
All right, thank you, Tim. Well, who wants to be a millionaire, or should I say billionaire? Yeah, the Mega Millions jackpot is still up for grabs, and you have your chance to win $1 billion, which is just $500 million, plus of the highest Mega Millions jackpot ever, which was $1.537 billion, which was all won by one ticket holder in South Carolina. But remember, it's also highly unlikely that you'll win it all. The odds of scoring the jackpot are 1 in 1 in 302 million. You are more likely to get struck by lightning while riding a shark. Well, coming up, the Mid-South will be on National Spotlight for a limited series on Emmett Till. Coming up, we will tell you some of the big stars producing the movie. Plus, tonight at 10, warrants were issued for a man accused of firing shots at a woman and a 5-year-old boy in Millington. We spoke with residents of Millington who have seen them. Look for the story tonight on the news at 10. And do you see news happening in your neighborhood? Call WREG at 901-543-2333. Email WREG@newstips@WREG.com, or you can just message us on our Facebook page. Welcome back to News Channel 3 at 6. Filming is beginning soon for a new ABC Limited series filming in Memphis and Mississippi. Women of the Movement is a 6-episode series focusing on Mamie Till Mobley, the mother of Emmett Till, a teenager who was lynched in Money, Mississippi in 1955. The 14-year-old was tortured by 2 white men, then tossed into the Tallahatchie River. WREG News Channel 3's Shay Arthur is live tonight to explain what this film could mean for Memphis. Hey there, Shay.
Hey, Greg. Well, historians I talked to said Miss Till was such a big part of the civil rights movement, really a catalyst, I should say. Right now, it's unclear where exactly in Memphis filming will be taking place. But people I talked to said it is past time that Till's mother got the recognition that she deserves. One of the historians I talked to, who's the director of the Emmett Till Interpretive Center, reacted to the news saying it was somewhat humbling
and unbelievably exciting, actually. Let's go back a little bit in history here. The 14-year-old African-American Emmett Till teen was tortured by 2 white men, then tossed into the Tallahatchie River. That was back in 1955. His body almost unrecognizable at the time. His mother, Mamie Till, insisted on a public open casket funeral. She wanted to make sure people saw what happened and what he looked like at the time, the torture that he went through. She then continued to fight for social justice. And people I talked to said really she was so brave to do that at the time. Now, filming for this show isn't just happening in Memphis, of course. It's also happening in Greenwood, Mississippi, which I'm told is happening right now. That's about 2 hours from Memphis. I'm told a house has actually already been erected there for one of the sets, they believe. So, of course, we'll keep you posted on that. And as far as here in this area, according to a Facebook post from the Memphis and Shelby County Film and Television Commission, some filming will take place also in Ripley, Tennessee. Executive producers for this series are some big names, reportedly include Will Smith and Jay-Z. That's according to Deadline, as well as other sources. Now, testing for the roles as well as costume fitting is set to happen next week. Of course, we'll keep you posted. We're live downtown tonight. Shay Arthur, WREG News Channel 3.
All right, thank you there, Shay. It's so good for this mother who endured so much to have her story told on national television. Well, it's time to get a check of your final forecast. Sunshine will be here to stay tomorrow, but plenty of rain for Sunday and starting your work week Monday. All right, well, that is your news tonight at 6. Join us back here tonight for WREG News Channel 3 at 10, where we talked with Memphis Mayor Jim Strickland about 300 workers losing their jobs. Look for this story and others tonight for the news at 10. Well, thank you for joining us for WREG News Channel 3 at 6, and we'll see you then. Bye for now.